Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Sharkava, and their tagline is, "You get what you pay for and Reddit is free." The original OP is Throw RA Picky Eater, posted to r/relationship advice, November 2nd, 2022, with the saga ending July 3rd, 2024. With a total of 7 updates in total. My husband cannot accept I don't like mustard. Things came to a head yesterday. Oh, and additionally, content warning for sexual assault. We've been married 2 years, dating 5. We're both 34. I'm a woman, he's a man, if it matters. I'm not a picky eater. In fact, I'm quite adventurous, and every time I've traveled, I've always made it a point to try dishes with unusual or uncommon ingredients to say I've tried them. There are very few foods I won't eat. One of them is mustard, the condiment. I don't like it. I just don't. The taste is very strong and overpowering, and it's an unpleasant taste. I've tried yellow, stone ground, honey, artesian, brown, spicy, you name it. I have tried them all. And I just don't like them. My husband, for some reason, never understood this. He loves mustard, especially honey mustard. He puts it on all of his sandwiches, dips his fries in it, and every time he tries to force me to try it, he'll insist I'll like it this time. I'm a grown-ass woman. I know what I don't like, and I don't like mustard. So I'll say no, and it'll devolve into a mini argument where he'll call me picky. Well, last night we were on the road home from a weekend trip we took together, and he stopped at a gas station to get us a quick bite. He got a hot dog slathered in mustard. I got one, but decided to keep it plain. I don't really love hot dogs to begin with, but I'll eat them. While we waited in line, he asked me what I got on mine. I told him nothing. He actually got furious and grabbed it from me. He marched over to the condiment section and began putting mustard on my hot dog, telling me to grow up and stop being picky. I just walked out and sat in the car. I didn't even want the damn hot dog anymore. My appetite was gone. He came back and began screaming at me for embarrassing him even further. The word divorce was said for the first time ever. I secretly recorded his screaming because I was genuinely afraid I would die. He was driving erratically, swerving, and speeding. I'm in a hotel tonight. He ignored me all day at work, and then the calls started around when he realized I wasn't coming home. Non-stop voicemails and texts. He sent me a screenshot of a Google search for divorce lawyers. I haven't eaten all day, and I've been sobbing in this damn hotel room. I don't want to get divorced, and I wish I had just ate the fucking mustard. Anyone please give me an explanation. Am I in danger? Why would he react this way to a preference of mine? I'm completely broken right now. First update. November 2nd, 2022, the same day as the original post. Some answers, I guess, to questions I saw. Regarding when I said no to sex. He respected if I said no to having sex, but he would ask for blowjobs over and over. I used to give in at first until I started dreading doing it. He tried buying all this stuff to make me like it, to make it easier or whatever. I used to like blowjobs. I don't like giving them to him. But he'll still ask over and over. I started responding with, I said no. Are you going to force me to do it? And he'd get squeamish and offended that I'd imply he would rape or assault me. Questions if I have a support system. No. I've always been a very small circle kind of person, and I lost touch with casual college friends. My friends are his. It makes me feel like a loser, but I don't really have friends of my own. My parents are dead. My dad died when I was a teen, and my mom passed away recently of heart failure. I have no siblings. I'm financially capable of living on my own, and I could pay for a divorce. I just really didn't want things to be this way. The mustard thing was always just an annoyance to me. I didn't consider it a deal breaker, but obviously it is for him. We have no kids and no equity. Our finances are separate, save for one joint account we equally contribute to for bills. We were looking at buying a house. I am safe, I'm at work, and I'm staying in the hotel until further notice. He has continued to text. One message said that he loves me and doesn't want to lose me. But I forced his hand by refusing to communicate or come home. I haven't answered. I don't know what to say. I forced myself to eat my favorite takeout last night, but it tasted like cardboard. I stayed up late compiling a list of every time he has shown worrying behavior. I guess the mustard is the tip of the iceberg. Second update, November 2nd, 2022. Again, same day as the original post. Sincerely, thank you all for your kind words as well as sending me links to resources. He has reverted back and has told me that he never wants to see me again. So I suppose that gives me time to read that book that someone on RA suggested to me. I forget the name. I would guess it's Why Does He Do That? I will admit, while I was at work and thinking of the lonely room waiting for me after 5, I considered just going home, but I knew what awaited me. I'm too drained to muster up the kind of apology he would be expecting in order for things to go back to normal. I honestly fear that our normal is detrimental to me. I also don't want to apologize. I don't think I did anything wrong, and you all helped validate that. I always felt like I was the one disturbing the peace. He gets so upset over things that were little to no effort for me to just do or go along with because I loved him. And somewhere along the way, I think I lost myself. I never liked mustard. I never liked golf or camping or red wine, but he loves all of these and wanted me to love them too. He said he was introducing me to his hobbies so we would have shared interests as a couple, but I've realized that out of all of the things I used to like, he has either refused to try or ignored my interest. Our shared interests are just his. God, how do I feel like my own person again? My world broke not 2 days ago, and now I'm drunk at a hotel bar switching between Reddit and researching divorce lawyers. I still don't want to divorce. It's so permanent. I never pictured myself a divorcee. I used to think that every choice I made deliberately. It used to be a point of pride for me, but he's making this choice for me. And it hurts. Third update, November 7th, 2022, 5 days after the original post. First of all, I took this week off at the encouragement of my employer. I plan to spend it finding a therapist that specializes in domestic abuse and sexual assault, which I've come to realize I am a victim of. I feel completely numb. I'm also looking into a divorce lawyer. Secondly, he found the hotel where I was staying. I guess he followed me from work. He was waiting in the lobby. God, my heart skipped a beat and I realized that I did not miss him at all. I was afraid of making a scene. I need to unlearn that, so I sat with him in the lounge area and talked. I'll summarize it. I pointed out the security camera and said if he tried to hurt me, there'd be footage and I would press charges without a second thought. He was completely shocked and said he'd never hurt me. I reminded him how I feared for my life in the car. He ignored me. He asked why I wasn't coming home. I was completely blank-faced when I told him, because you're divorcing me. He said he didn't mean it and was just upset. I said, when normal people are upset, they express it in a healthy way. You threatened to end our marriage. I'm taking you seriously. He got pissed and asked if I was saying he wasn't normal. Honestly, I just wanted the conversation to be done. So I told him if that's all he heard, then there was no point in talking anymore. I told him I was looking for a lawyer and he should probably do the same if he hasn't found one. He lashed out and said, all this over one mistake? And I just stared at him. As I went to stand up, he grabbed my wrist hard, and I pointed at the camera again. This just made him angrier. He never could handle slights to his ego. One mistake? It wasn't one mistake. It was a pattern of abuse over years. It was threatening me, intimidating me. I told him if he tried to contact me again, beyond sending me his lawyer's details, I'd be calling the police. He let me go. I want to say I was a badass and celebrated in my room, but I collapsed onto my bed and began sobbing. I was just so sick and angry and sad. He truly doesn't care about me. I've been crying on and off while calling local therapists. God, why is it so hard to find one? The amount of therapists that advertise but turn out to not be accepting new patients is unacceptable. I've looked into victims of DV/DA support groups as well. In the span of less than a month, my life is completely changed. And he isn't remorseful at all. He just thinks it's my fault. Fourth update, November 26th, 2022, 24 days after the original post. I have a divorce lawyer. That's all I'm comfortable with revealing on here for the time being. I will also mention that I have moved locations. I am safe and secure. My work has allowed me to go fully remote. My soon-to-be ex does not have my location, nor are there any trackers on my phone. I am in contact with people and organizations who are helping me. Earlier this week, the calls and texts really ramped up. I was advised to leave him unblocked and simply muted so his messages would come through. I read a few since I was curious. He wanted me at Thanksgiving dinner with his family. He begged me to stop this way, and what was he supposed to tell his family? Well, Thursday came and went. I had bought a couple of ready meals the night before, so that was my feast. I do want to take a break here to talk about my mom, since it was only 3 of us every holiday, except the rare times friends would come over. My mom wouldn't make a turkey. She would buy a rotisserie chicken and dress it up with stuffing, etc. She'd make dishes we loved, rather than the traditional Thanksgiving dishes. My favorite side dish of all time was French fries. My dad loved grilled asparagus with cheese, so we would have a rotisserie chicken with French fries, asparagus, and some garlic toast, my mom's favorite. The first time I had real traditional Thanksgiving food at a friend's house, I apparently told my mom loudly I didn't like it and asked where the fries were. So, this year, instead of my soon-to-be ex-husband's family's Thanksgiving food, I bought asparagus, fries, garlic toast, and a couple of slices of rotisserie chicken. It wasn't half as good as my mother's meal, but when I say I cried eating it, it felt like they were with me that night. I guess my absence at the dinner forced my soon-to-be ex to tell his family that I was separated from him, so Friday morning I got a phone call from an unfamiliar number. I answered it, thinking maybe it was my lawyer's home phone or another person I was in contact with. It was my mother-in-law. She begged me not to hang up on her, so I stayed on the line. She went on about how I was her daughter, she loved me, her son loved me, and how could I leave him over something so minor? He only told his mom about the mustard, and even then it was a watered-down version that made me look like a neurotic control freak who needed everything my way. According to my mother-in-law, he just made a side cup of it for me and asked me to try it in the car. And I started screaming I'd divorce him. She then started probing about which lawyer I was seeing and what I had told them. She also reminded me that lying in court was a crime. My lawyer had warned me not to reveal anything we had discussed to his family. It took all my willpower not to say anything. Instead, I hung up and muted her number 2. She hasn't texted or tried to call again. Trust me, I would have loved to send the recording of her son screaming, saying he ought to smack me upside the head, calling me a stubborn bitch, that he would divorce me, and that he would run the car off the fucking road if I didn't start acting right. I wanted to scream into the phone that her precious son started this mess, and I was simply doing what he wanted. I've come to realize you don't treat someone you love like the way he has acted. Normal people don't want to have sex with someone who's already said no. Normal people don't keep pushing and obsessing over food preferences. There is something seriously wrong with that man. He texted me last night, Friday, calling me a bitch for making his mother cry. He also said he would come find me, and it would take more than a locked door to keep him from getting me and taking me home. I forwarded those to the right people. I know this isn't a happy update, but things are moving along quite nicely. 5th update, February 9th, 2023. I moved. I will not say where, but I have found a new home. My job let me stay on as permanently remote. I can't go into details about my divorce or other current legal proceedings, but I can say I was granted a protective order due to something that happened back in December. Due to the nature of what happened, I was hospitalized for a time. That was what I guess made me realize I wanted to get the fuck out. I traded my car, had my phone checked for tracking apps and devices, and changed my number. He cannot contact me or have anyone contact me on his behalf. I am now several hours in state lines away from him and his wretched family. I moved with only 2 suitcases and a duffel of my stuff. I cannot wait to furnish and decorate my new home the way I always wanted it. I'm in therapy, and I have a survivor support group I see weekly. I will be okay. I feel like I can finally breathe. Edit, you all are very kind. I've had a lot of people ask what happened that landed me in the hospital, and while I understand my story is entertaining, it is quite traumatic to endure. Respectfully, I won't share that until I'm ready. I appreciate all the support, and I'm both touched and heartbroken by those of you who have shared similar stories in my comments and DMs. I'm simultaneously horrified that others have gone through this, and relieved that I'm not the only one. 6th update, November 14th, 2023. Close to a year after the original post. Hello, it's been a while. I'd sort of forgotten about this account until I saw screenshots of my posts uploaded to Instagram. Some key points. I'm still going to therapy, individual counseling, and bi-weekly group meetings for victims of domestic violence. I'm absolutely not dating. I saw some comments that said they hoped I'd found a fairy tale man. That's the last thing I want or need. I strive for independence and self-love before I consider finding a new partner. It'll probably be years before I'm ready, and that's okay. I have discovered a love of cooking and trying new cuisines. I didn't realize how boring my ex's taste was until I escaped him. Slathering mustard on a $2 hot dog does not mean you have superior taste buds. Sorry, I had to get a jab in somehow. Nothing new or dramatic has happened, and that's the way I like it. What matters is I'm alive and I'm happy. I didn't realize how little I'd made myself until I was given the space to be. That's all I'm willing to give for my update for now. Peace and love. New update. 8 months from the last post. I'm okay. It seems that I can't escape my story. I was getting ready for the day when my TikTok feed showed a podcast reading and reacting to my story. I'm here to reassure all of you that I'm okay, alive, safe, and free. And with that stress and anxiety mostly cleared up, I feel like I can finally put to words my emotions. I was very small and skittish during the abuse and for some time after leaving. I'm not sure how else to put it, but I feel like I had to be small. I was constantly regulating and accommodating. It was horrible, in retrospect, but no one prepared me for the emotional turmoil that ensues once you're safe and away. I felt rage like nothing else. I would spend hours screaming and crying into my pillow, hating him, wondering how dare he treat me like that. As therapy in my support group has worked to rebuild my self-esteem, I've become more and more outraged on my own behalf. I read, "Why does he do that?" And while it helps provide context to why he abused me, it still doesn't make me feel less angry, I guess. I'm angry for myself as a human being. He treated others with respect but thought I deserved all that he did to me. And that makes me angry. Of course, there was relief, sadness, all of that. I think I slept for days straight after I left. I was in a daze. My therapist reassured me that all of this is normal. I don't want this update to be negative, not in the slightest, so some good news as well. My therapist recommended yoga and Pilates, and it has been great for me. The release of a deep stretch, being in shape, feeling strong, it has all helped me massively. I feel healthy, and yes, I cry when I do hip opening stretches. Also, I made friends. Real friends. I joined a local women's club, part of my neighborhood, and we do various activities bi-monthly. This next week, we'll be doing a little embroidery project. Everyone brings snacks, and we just enjoy each other's company. Too long didn't read, I'm alive, I'm angry, but that is part of healing. But I'm working on being happy. Also, I will never, ever eat mustard again or be pushed into doing anything I said no to the first time. Comments. User the Yankunian. I wish we talked about the fallout once we're safe more. I came out feeling free and exhilarated, and then, like a deep sea creature pulled from the depths, I turned to mush. One step at a time. One self-care or kind gesture to yourself at a time. You'll get there. I'm so proud of you. I hope you're proud of you too. Opie responds, goodness, that is a great way to describe it. Like mush. User Rainbow Cardigan comments, so happy you're doing well, and anger is okay. You recognized it and are working through it. That's you, realizing you deserve and deserved better. Great work on the yoga, Pilates, and friend group. Enjoy your new normal and the future you have created. OP responds, thank you so much. You're very kind. Yeah, the anger is something I struggled with. I felt very wrathful and I wanted bad things to happen to him, and that made me feel tremendous guilt. User Corfiz74 comments, damn, I wish I lived near you and could join that women's group. They sound like a hoot. I'm so glad you're safe and doing better, and your body shutting down is completely understandable. You'd been living under tremendous stress for years, like a soldier in combat. Never safe, always on the alert. Once the stress was removed, of course everything went offline for a while, to regenerate. I hope your therapist is treating you for PTSD. I'd be very surprised if you escape that. I wish you all the best. Did he do jail time for assaulting you? I still low-grade wish you had used a burner account to send your ex-mother-in-law his screaming mustard rant, just so she could hear what exactly she spawned. I hate that she still thinks it was just a misunderstanding, but I know it's more sensible to cut all contact and let sleeping dogs lie. OP responds, he did not do jail time. He went to mandated counseling and that was considered legally acceptable, equivalent to jail time in our state. Content warning, sexual assault, he raped me. That's the catalyst that resulted in me moving and our divorce moving along properly. He was trying to impregnate me. He told me that. Ah, yes. Fucking counseling. That'll definitely help. That knuckle-dragging troglodyte needs jail time. To be put in a box and locked away. Jesus fucking Christ. I hope his mom found out what he tried to do, because maybe if she learned about that, she'd maybe realize it wasn't just about the mustard. I was definitely going to end my thought process of I wonder if the mother ever actually found out what kind of a monster her son really was, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she just put blinders on and just pretended that obviously, that's just some kind of lie in the courts and it's a false accusation that my son had to deal with, and he's so lucky he just had to deal with counseling and not prison time. What a monster she is. I know that's a made-up mental hypothetical, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the angle that managed to be spun. Vile is what that is. You gotta be extra sick and demented to think that if you forcefully baby trap someone, they'll obviously want to stay with you. I hope he gets an allergy to mustard and chokes. This post was collected by Quality Proof. The original OP is Need to Exit, posted to r/legal advice. Can I sue my business partner in small claims court? Hi, smart people. A few years ago, I became a partial owner in an online business that my friend started. We're a multi-member LLC, taxed like a partnership, in Oregon. I and one other partner own 20% each, and the guy who started the business owns 60%. For a number of reasons, I need to exit this business and move on with my life. We do not have an operating agreement. I know that's stupid. Please don't beat me up about it. I tried hard for a long time to get everyone to sign one, but it never got done. I gave notice to both partners that I intended to exit about 2 weeks ago. The minor partner has accepted that, and we're working on a transition plan. The major partner, so far, has not responded to any communication. I assume he's frustrated and not ready to talk. All communication has been by email because we travel frequently and run the business remotely. Because he's a friend and I care about the success of the business, I plan to continue to try to engage him and structure my exit in a way that is fair to the business and my partners. My question, what do I need to be doing right now to make sure I cover all my own bases and do this right, considering that my partner is being unresponsive? Do I need to be sending certified mail or is email good enough? Email with red receipt? Something else? What kind of timeline should I be operating on? I have many more questions actually, but I'm trying not to think too far ahead and take this one step at a time. The research I've done so far leads me to believe that in Oregon LLC, members can remove themselves from a business 6 months after giving notice, but still retain economic interest in that business. Sort of like a last-ditch way to make an exit when agreements simply can't be reached otherwise. I've worked really hard on this business and it's mildly successful, more than 100K annual profit. It's important to me that I protect my own rights, economically, while exiting the business in an upstanding way. There are probably a million ways this can go, and who knows what'll happen next week, but what should my next steps be? Thanks in advance. P.S. I expect this to take some time to resolve, so I look forward to posting updates and continuing through the whole process here. Update. First, a quick update. I hired a non-litigation business attorney to help me figure out what my rights as an owner were. He was helpful, but that didn't go anywhere. My non-responsive partner finally contacted me after months of silent treatment while I continued to run the business, and the results were disappointing. A few weeks ago, he decided I'm no longer involved in the business, removed me from our bank account, stopped making distributions, and sent me a generous contract offering the opportunity to return my equity in exchange for not suing me for something. His threats were vague. Now, onto the show. So now, I've hired a litigation attorney, who's the best and most expensive in town. I'll ultimately be following his advice, but I had an idea I thought I'd flesh out here before passing it by him, in case it saves me some time. Read money. Discussing hypotheticals with him. It is assumed that as long as my partner doesn't buy me out, I am due my pro rata share of distributions anytime they are made to other partners, and I am not obligated to provide any further service to the business. Buyout talks are going nowhere right now, so my thought is, can I just wait for them to make a distribution to themselves and then sue them in small claims to recover my share? Seems like it could be an easy way to make myself whole one little bit at a time and perhaps motivate him to have a more honest buyout discussion. It's unlikely my share of any distribution would be over the small claims cap, $10K. Is this a decent idea for a remedy? If so, who would I name as defendants? The company? My two partners? All of the above? And how will I know if a distribution is made in the first place now that I've been removed from the bank account? I know I'm entitled to inspect company documents, but not sure what I would ask for in this situation or if I could believe the accounting records that are sent. Update. I have a lawyer, 2 of them actually, and I listen to them and do as they tell me. I come here because I'm slightly neurotic, and being neurotic with your lawyer is not a financially sound practice. Today, I have a brief update and another question. First, the update to entertain. For the last 8 months, my lawyer has been hounding the business lawyer for the financial records I'm entitled to have access to, and we were either led on only to receive nothing after many promises to deliver, or stonewalled altogether. Finally, in November, we filed suit against the business in Big Boy Court to receive injunctive relief, requesting the business records and legal fees, which we believe were due under Oregon law. The registered agent, my business partner, evaded service until January. Then we received no answer to the suit until the day after we filed notice of intent to take default. The answer was filed by a different lawyer from the same firm, denying all allegations and claiming I do not actually have interest in the business. They also got in touch, a third lawyer, again, same firm, at the same time saying, "Let's talk, what do you want?" We said, "We want to be bought out." They asked, "Okay, how much?" We said, "Send the damn records over so we can tell you." They said, "Okay, give us 2 days." We have them, but our admin needs to label them. They're running 2 different storylines, one officially in the lawsuit and another in what at least felt like an attempt to negotiate. That was 2 weeks ago. We've been hounding them again and are being stonewalled again. Based on the history of this case and my long-standing relationship with my partner, I'm no longer convinced they intend to negotiate at all, and our conversations so far are really just another attempt to delay. This morning, it was uncovered that the business has altered some, official documents to be very much not in my favor. My lawyers are freaking pissed, and we're scheduled to chat next week about potentially moving to a contingency agreement. Which brings me to my next question. What do I need to think about before accepting a contingency agreement? I know the most basic things to think about: ultimate value of case, cost to pursue, and contingency fee. But I really don't know anything else. Are there other factors to consider? I feel like being offered contingency is a godsend for most because it removes the uncertainty of the cost of litigation. That's enticing for me as well, but I'm also not destitute, and so far, I've been pretty happy with how efficient my lawyers have operated. I feel like it's not a tremendous hardship for me to keep funding the operation, at least for now, and keep all the still uncertain spoils. Any advice on how to approach this? Update. Hello again, r/legal advice. I understand you appreciate updates. I posted several questions and updates throughout my saga, but here is the most relevant OP. The important points. I was a minority shareholder in a small business in Oregon. I also worked in that business. I decided I wanted to no longer work in that business. The majority owner decided he didn't like that, so he fired me instead, froze me out of the bank accounts, stopped with my discussions, and threatened to sue me to get back all the money I ever received from the business. That was scary and frustrating, so I got a lawyer. Now, the update. After spending months trying to peacefully resolve everything and getting stonewalled, we filed a document inspection lawsuit in November to compel my partner to produce all our agreements and financial documents, so we could at least understand what the heck he was doing and to figure out just how bad he was screwing me. My lawyer, who's practiced for 30 plus years, said he's never had to file an inspection suit before because in Oregon, it comes with attorney fees. No one allows themselves to be sued for that because it's a big liability. My partner dodged service for 2 months, so we weren't able to get the ball rolling until January. He had a lawyer this whole time, but they never agreed to accept service. And then, more stonewalling. We ended up filing notice of intent to take default. The next day, they filed an answer to the suit, denying everything and countersuing for attorney fees, which apparently they can't actually get. In March, my lawyer's assistant was doing some routine research and just happened to find that the business filed amended documents with the state that completely omitted me as a member/owner. He was trying to erase me. My lawyer decided the best thing to do was to continue the inspection suit and file a new suit, naming my partner personally for breach of fiduciary duty. That way, he could try to do as much useful discovery as possible under the inspection suit, where we could get attorney fees back and use all that discovery again in the individual suit where we couldn't. This is also the point at which he offered to represent me on contingency, which was a huge relief for me because he's expensive and things were escalating. He also credited the fees I'd already paid towards future costs and expenses, which helped a lot. Even though the other side was making no effort to resolve the problem, that really felt like a positive turning point because I think getting a lawyer on contingency for a business/contract dispute is pretty unusual. I later learned my lawyer offered contingency because my partner pissed him off and he wanted to keep turning the screws on him. He didn't want me to bail. I get the impression he's getting towards the end of his career and just likes to work on cases that interest him now. Fast forward a few months and we depose my partner. That experience pissed my lawyer off even more. I wasn't there, but reading the transcript was both sad and hilarious. My lawyer said it was the third most frustrating deposition he's ever taken. Oh well, guess you can't be first at everything. After the deposition, partner's attorney got in touch to offer a settlement. He was on his third lawyer at this point, by the way. It was a terrible offer, so he said, "No thanks, but we'll do mediation if you want." They agreed, which is tragically comical to me. Mediation was my partner's idea that I agreed to before any of this insanity ever started. But he changed his mind at the last minute, and I never heard from him again. We spent a full day in mediation, and at the end accepted a mediated settlement when negotiations broke down. The settlement, once the contingency fee was subtracted, was not far from what I thought I was owed, so I was happy to accept it and put an end to an emotionally draining 2-year saga. I often second-guessed myself throughout this process and felt guilty for suing someone I once cared so much about, but really, he brought it upon himself. And I'm happy that I stood up for myself and I'm not spending the rest of my life asking, why did I let him get away with that? My ex-partner has a very strong cult of personality that served him well. He's very charming and can convince most people to do what he wants. I don't think anyone's ever stood up to him like that before, and it caught him flat-footed. The whole process was confusing because he never made a logical move until he was truly backed into a corner and was facing trial. At every turn, I wondered, is this a trap? Do they have some epic strategy I can't see? The longer things dragged on, the more I realized they didn't. There was no strategy beyond ignoring me until they couldn't anymore. Though, my bank account is much healthier today. I guess to say the money really rings hollow. I lost a friend and a partner in this debacle, but it's obvious I was going to lose that anyway. So, better to have the money than not have it, I guess. And I'm very thankful I found the lawyer I did. I probably could not have sustained the fight all the way through trial without a contingency agreement. I could tell he really loved his job, and I think he's a little bummed we're not going to trial. So, for one, I really relate to kind of OP realizing there was no grand strategy, and they just kind of phoned it in at the end there. really understand what that feels like. Another portion too, by the way, don't piss off opposing counsel. Because the moment it becomes personal for opposing counsel, you're kind of fucked. Because now they're just doing it for the love of the sport. And unfortunately, dragging your ass through court is the sport, and boy do they love doing it. Also, I'm not surprised that OP's business partner, while dealing with the same firm, kept having his case passed around to younger and potentially less experienced lawyers as, I'm wiping my hands clean with this? Good luck. Very fun when that happens too. I can't even imagine the arrogance, though, of when one of your business partners wants to step away. Your first process is, I'm gonna sue you for your 20% and make you pay that back. No. You don't understand. Him having that 20% means that he's owed that 20%. Not that you get that 20% back. Idiot. This post was collected by Low Sheer Velocity. The original OP is OK Economy 3778, who is now suspended. Originally posted to r/Washington DC, December 17th, 2022. This best of is titled, OP wants to find a club in Washington DC with no Uggos, in quotes. The first post is Decent Nightclub. Obviously using a throwaway, but is there a club in this city that has an implicit or explicit no Uggos policy that also plays half-decent house music? No offense, but this is not the hottest city, and I need to be around other beautiful people to stave off seasonal depression. Thank you! Update 1, December 18th, 2022. Title of the post is, I can't believe it. I come to DC for a couple weeks of education, culture, and fun. The museums and food are fantastic, but the city is so miserable and grim. Everyone is so exhausting to look at. So I try my chances at a club. Nobody is dressed hot, and everyone has uneven lips and fat shoulders that broaden their face, and long torsos and dry elbows with nary a clue that they look like that. The fact that I saw Chelsea boots on a woman who I presume is college educated and aware it is the year 2022, a woman who was wearing stone-washed boot-cut high-rise jeans as well, like some sort of time traveler with her notes mixed up, made me so profoundly distressed that I had to go back to my hotel and rest. Additionally, I've never been in a club where people are so grimly determined to look like they're having fun. Where is the sprezzatura? Must you all look so pained? So, on the next weekend, I try to find a club for beautiful people that also played good house music. I was feeling depressed, and that always makes me feel better. I get both in abundance in my city, and DC is large, wealthy, and educated. It cannot be that difficult. I have no friends here. None of my college friends even are the type to live in such a place, and now I understand why. As such, Instagram is useless in finding answers for that, and many of you butter-faced freaks are on Twitter. So I turned to Reddit. Surely there's hot people, maybe even hot men, that use this site once in a while and can give me a good answer, but no. I get rude and ungrateful, ugly people mouthing me off, and the ones that did give me legitimate advice were hounded for doing so. Is this how a city of what I thought were well-educated, well-mannered class of the United States treats its visitors? Are you unable to look in the mirror and realize that this city is full of genetically unfortunate people, apparently too poor to buy beauty, including most of yourselves? Even gently botched plastic surgery suggests an attempt was made to try, and that counts in my books. There's nothing inherently wrong with being ugly or unfashionable, but be honest about it. Humble yourselves in the presence of the gifted, and provide more spaces for attractive people to hang out and have a good time in places that make them feel good about being beautiful. Not to mention, you all look in the mirror and feel good. I would never leave my house if I looked like half of you. There's no demand for self-improvement and discipline, and no culture that emphasizes beauty as a goal for its own sake. A lack of vision for hot people will eventually kill your city. I regret coming here, and I cannot believe that I spent the money to do as such. Good riddance. Note, shortly after being posted on Reddit, screenshots of this post went viral on Tumblr, where it currently has over 40,000 notes. The following updates are from Tumblr, and due to the blog being flagged for mature content, the posts may not be visible without a Tumblr account. Update 2, May 13th, 2023. Comment by Tumblr user Phalloids on the screenshot of the original Reddit post. Oh my god, this is me. So I was addicted to designer amphetamines and completely delusional at the time of writing this. I had lost 40 pounds and thought I was hot shit. I thought I was the reincarnation of Kurt Vonnegut. This was serious, and my friends laughed when they saw this go viral on Twitter. It made me realize I had issues, and I'm sober now. I'm also shocked I managed to stay employed at that time. And to answer your question, note the screenshots were posted with the caption, "Is this person NYC or LA? Place your bets." I'm from LA, but I grew up all around. I was living between Baltimore and NYC at the time. My mom is a beautiful Italian woman, Milan by way of Bolzano, and my dad is an insufferable Mexican from Montreal. Hashtag drug trigger warning, hashtag weight loss trigger warning. Update 3, July 29, 2023. OP adds another comment with 2 images to prove they are indeed the OP. Both screenshots provided are of the Reddit app showing that they are logged in with the username OKEconomy3778. Image 2 is a screenshot of the Reddit app showing an error message that reads, "Your account has been permanently suspended from Reddit. Click here for more info." This message is also partially visible in the first image. For what it's worth, my Reddit was suspended for this. I'm doing a lot better now, life is good, and I'm really happy. Smiley face. Hashtag don't worry, hashtag live well. Well, damn, designer drugs are, well, I mean, the hell of a drug. That metaphor fell flat, because that's now just an obvious explanation. Many people originally thought this was a troll post, but the Tumblr update makes just so much sense. I'm glad OP is doing a lot better and that they've definitely had their ego checked and thrown away where that ego specifically belongs, because, oh my god, gotta enjoy the new Reddit game of, is this now a rage bait troll post, or is this person just on designer amphetamines? I am most certainly going to steal the insult, though, of you are a genetically unfortunate person. Hey, GamerSubs is doing Christmas in July right now, where if you buy tubs, you get free stuff, up to $250 in free gifts while supplies last. I've pretty much got every single video that I have uploaded on my vacation set to have this outro, so hopefully supplies last up until I get back. But yeah, definitely take a look at this if this interests you, and if you've been looking to snag up a good amount of tubs, then definitely do so. And use code EYES at checkout for 10% off of the tubs you're going to be buying to get more free stuff. So hey, it's a win-win.